Welcome, everyone. My name is Shane O'Donnell, and I'm the founder of Praxis Mindset Guide. And what I want to do today is give you an overview of 7 practical steps that will stop you guessing your way to success. Just a quick introduction to who I am. I'm Australian born, grew up in Zimbabwe, started my business career in Zimbabwe, made some good money at a young age, setting goals at a young age, not really understanding what I was doing, but it all worked for me. And what happened was, at the age of 30, I hit a major goal that I'd set when I was 15. In fact, I had a couple of goals, but I didn't understand that I had to reset goals. And so within 5 years of turning 30, I lost everything that I'd made up until then. And I had to start again. But now I'm in a first world country, never worked in a first world country before. I don't have any formal education, just a farm boy that went into the safari business and built businesses. And now I find myself in Sydney in 2005, and I'd lost everything. And in fact, I had a debt that I had to pay off, and I literally only paid it off beginning of this year. Finally settled that debt, and it's been a long journey. But what has been good is that I've had to learn new information and apply that information to my life. And as a result of a program called the Thinking into Results coaching series, transformed my life so dramatically that now I'm a coach for that. And so what I want to do is I want to present to you today Praxis Momentum Method. This is the momentum method that I teach people how to implement into their lives. And there's 7 practical steps. There's 12 different courses within the steps, but the principle of getting to achieve success in your life can be achieved by anyone. And the intention here is that through this course, and what I'm going to show you today, is that you'll build confidence and you'll be able to scale your income. That was important to me, because when I lost my business, my confidence was shot and I was broke. And so I had to I had to get back all the money that I'd lost plus more in a short period of time. And so that's why this is important to me. And it will be important to some people listening here. So the goal is your success. Praxis Mindset Guide is all about your success. And, I believe that every human being should prosper and live life on their terms. So let's get into the course. All right. So to start with, all you have is this moment in time. The past is gone, good or bad, can't change it. All you have is this moment. The mind wants to keep a lot of people worrying about the future. All you've got is this moment. You can't do anything about the future unless you start making decisions in the moment, this moment right now. So your personal success journey always starts from now. As we go into this, and before we start, I'd like you to just think for a moment. What is your intention? Why are you investing your valuable time seeking out more information? What is it within you that is searching for new information? Think about that question. Set an intention. Think about why you're listening to what I'm saying. Before we get started, if you haven't already, then go and get a journal, get paper to write on, get a pen, take notes. What I'm going to give you in a very short period of time basically changed my life. And so dramatically, my wife never has to work again. That's from going broke in 2005 in a brand new country with no qualifications to financially independent, using these principles. Anyone can use them. They're not difficult ideas. They're not going to give you a brain hernia, but there is a method. Then if you've got questions, write them down. you may want to email me and ask me. So there's 3 essential questions that you should start at the top of a page. Do I want my next 5 years to be, I'll put a question mark because I really want this to hammer home, a repeat of my last 5 years? Ask yourself that question in those words. Do I want my next 5 years to be a repeat of my last 5 years? It's a yes or a no. If it's a no, then what do I genuinely want? What is it that's on your heart that you really want for your life? For no moment, think about how. Just what is it that you want is on your heart. That's the only important question. The how will be shown. That's the universe's job, is to show you how. That's God's job, to show you how. We are co-creating with the universe. And it all starts with unpacking what is on your heart, because it was put there for a reason. Do I have the will to find an easier way? From a young age, I grew up on a farm and we worked hard. I picked cotton. It was all hand-picked. I picked cotton. I've done the hard yards when we were working here in Queensland. I've had a physical labor business, and I physically labored for all those years in the hot Queensland sun, in the humidity, which is ridiculous. But I just did it, and I'm very grateful to my body, because my body just keep going and say, we've got a goal to hit, and we hit it. And so I kept asking myself, surely there must be an easier way, and there is an easier way. Well, I've sold that business now because I've done that. I don't need to do it again. And you know, if you're doing what they call in Australia a hard yakka, then it can be changed. There's something that you were designed to do, and it might not necessarily be, like for me, I didn't believe I was meant to dig holes, but for 10 years I dug holes. 10 years in Queensland, I've dug holes. In fact, it was longer. It took me a while to figure out that I don't have to do that. I can do other things. So, unusual name. What is Praxis? Praxis is actually a fantastic word. Praxis is a mind-body relationship, or the mental physical state that you're in. That's what praxis means. And it's really important, because we're not brought up to understand the relationship between our mind and our body. And I'm talking about the mind, not the brain. The brain is part of the body. The mind actually sends through what you get emotionally involved with, will activate brain cells that will cause your body to act. So the mind is important to understand, but we're not taught about the mind. In fact, the mind is so incredibly powerful. It is everything. Everything starts in the mind. Everything that man invents is first created in the mind, using the imagination, using intuition, using memory, using our perception, using the will, using our reason. The mind is powerful, but we're not taught how to use it. So our mind comes to us for free. This powerful asset that we have is free to us, but it didn't come with an operator's manual. So the responsibility as we move through our life, and we get to a certain point where we've had enough of the frustration, then it's up to us, our responsibility, to figure out how the mind works. And there's enough information out there to get a really good result, because that's what I had to go through when I lost my business in 2005. So praxis is the mind-body relationship. Then momentum is the quality that gives something, keeps something developing. So once it gets started, making progress once it gets started. That's momentum is a great concept. And method is a certain way of doing things. And in Wallace D. Wattle's beautiful little book, The Science of Getting Rich, he talks about doing things in a certain way all the way through. And when we learn how to do things in a certain way, then life becomes a lot easier because we're operating in a lawful manner. And the law of the universe is basically, it's God's modus operandi. That's how we're designed to operate. And I use God and the universe and source energy and infinite intelligence because people have different interpretation of the energy that we can sense that's within us, that's seeking expression in the world. And there's, a lot of different religions and so on, and that's man's interpretation. Different people have interpreted different ways. None is right or wrong. Everything just is. And what I'm saying here, if it resonates with you, if you feel that it's right, then that is your higher self, your soul, your inner being saying to you, there's nothing wrong with what's been said. Because, to be honest, I grew up in a very orthodox kind of Christian background. And when I started listening to Bob Proctor talk about these ideas, I went through my Bible, I was double checking everything that he said. After a couple of years, I stopped doing that because everything he said doesn't only come from and talk about in the Bible, but in all the other good books that anyone can read in all the religions. These ideas actually transcend all of the religions because they are the fundamental laws that operate this wonderful universe that we're a part of. So doing things in a certain way, when you learn to live in harmony with the laws that govern the universe, and there's basically one primary law and then 7 subsidiary laws, and then there's lots of laws that come after that are part of the 7. But once you understand and you start operating in a lawful manner, that is operating in a certain way. That's the method. So Praxis, the momentum method. Praxis is a mind-body relationship, and it's the assumptions you've consented to and come to believe in that are giving you your results. And that expectant state moves the molecules in your body and causes you to act in this certain way. So the assumptions that you make about every important subject, about money, about relationships, about health, about the work that you do, the assumptions that you make are the key. And it's the actions that you take. So the assumptions causes you to feel in a certain way, and as you feel, your emotional state activates brain cells in your brain and causes you to act in a certain way. And it's your action that gives you your results. And results are the name of the game. If you want to understand what's going on in your mind, look at your results, and you'll get a clear indication of what's going on in your mind. Learn to make better informed assumptions and you'll change your results. That's how it works. It all starts in the mind. A lot of people spend a lot of effort trying to change their circumstances, changing relationships, changing their job, you name it. They want to change everything in the physical world, but it all starts in the mind, because they'll change and maybe they'll leave this person and start a relationship with that person, and the same results are going to come unless they change the way that they see their life. So let's get stuck into the momentum method. 7 practical steps to stop guessing your way to success. I love that idea, because that's what happened to me when I lost my business in Sydney. It took us 2 years to burn through all our cash, and because we were just making more mistakes than we had cash to pay for. And eventually we had to shut the doors. We had 2 stores in Sydney, and they were just a monumental failure, but they were a blessing in disguise, because I had to relearn how actually everything works. And I'm so grateful that I had to go through that pain. I'm so grateful for my wife, because she's still with me, even though I took her through that journey. And I'm so grateful for my children. Maybe they were a bit too young to really understand what was going on, the pain that mum and dad were going through while I was trying to work out how everything works and how it relates to your career and business and earning money, which was an important part of my life and my journey. So the whole momentum method is built on Sandy Gallagher and Bob Proctor's Thinking into Results coaching series. And there's 12 powerful lessons within that coaching series. And so if you choose to take on this program, it's just 24 weeks and you'll take the guesswork out of success. You'll clearly understand how to become successful. That's how simple it is. You'll build confidence, because what it really does is it helps you become aware of the truth of who you are. That's what the program does. It's a system. And what we need is a system to unpack a lot of the assumptions that are actually not doing you any favors, and replace them with better assumptions, more assumptions that will help you generate momentum and success in your career or your business. I applied this to my business, and we've sold that business now, but we were really struggling to get the gears going really well with this business. We started with a one-man band and we grew it to, I think it was 13 people when we sold it. And that growth had a lot of pain. It had rewards. The rewards were we were earning really good money. But what I couldn't see is my wife and I were working long hours. So we were giving away all our time for cash reward. And I just couldn't see how this was sustainable. So when I started implementing, and I went through a couple of programs before I went through this one, but when I went through this one, everything changed straight away. And all of a sudden, my wife went down to sort of 2 days a week working, and it just, everything fell into place. Money started coming into our business like we'd never even wondered where that money would have come from, and large amounts. So we eventually ended up completely debt-free, operating on cash in that business. We bought investment property and so on. And it was just incredible. And then we got a miraculous offer. We had the business valued. And when my wife and I got the valuation, we said, no, we're not selling it, because we could earn that in 2 years. And we thought, well, what's the point? And then when a phone call came through a month later after that valuation, and literally within 6 months of that valuation, we signed a deal for 4.5 times what that valuation was. 4.5 times. And there's no coincidences in life. That was by design. So as a result, we're financially independent, and it's a great feeling, because now I get to choose what I want to do. I don't believe I'll ever retire, because I don't believe in retirement. But my wife doesn't ever have to go back to work again. It's a wonderful feeling. And you can have that too. Everyone can. Within just 24 weeks, you'll be able to start confidently taking deliberate action towards what it is that you genuinely want to create for your life. You'll be able to scale your income with no more effort than staying where you are right now. That's the crazy thing. Our finite mind, where you are right now, you're probably thinking that's crazy. That's what happened to me. And it's not happened once. It's happened a couple of times. But in the past, when I was in our tourism businesses, I didn't understand how this worked. So I couldn't articulate it. Now I understand it, because I've been studying it for that long. I've applied the principles and I've got the results. So I get understanding with that. So all I have to do is repeat that over and over. You can have that too. So I want to introduce a concept called signalment, or the stick figure concept. And it's just a simple way to create order when you're thinking about the mind. And this is the stick figure concept. And everything that Bob Proctor ever taught was based around this stick figure concept, because it creates order in the mind. So you can see the top circle is what we consider the mind. The mind is not your head. Your mind's in every part of your body. but just for simplicity's sake, let's just say the top half, the top circle is your mind, and the bottom circle is your body. Now, the mind is got the line in the middle, and that horizontal line separates what we call the conscious mind from the subconscious mind. And whatever is imagined in the conscious mind and allowed to filter down into the subconscious mind, which is our emotional mind, and what we get emotionally involved with, that moves our body into action. So the body is an instrument of the mind. The mind is where it all happens. So in the step 1 of the 7 steps to creating order for your success, so you can deliberately direct the success you move into every day, is foundation. You need to start from this point. You have to recognize that you are 100% responsible for your results. Anyone who wants to lay blame to anyone else is actually, what you're doing is you're handing your agency over to someone else, and then you can't deliberately direct your life. You cannot captain your destiny. You are playing victim if you allow someone else to be responsible for your results in your life. No matter what's happened in the past, when you get through this 7 steps, you'll grasp what I'm saying. Accept responsibility. Only you can change your results. Accept that 100% of your assumptions and your expectations have got you to where you are. As you go through life, you pick up ideas, you're watching what other people are doing, you're learning things, you're learning skills, you're learning in your workplace, you're learning with relationships, you're learning with your body. You feed it certain things and you're going to get a different result. You exercise in a certain way, you're going to get a different result. And so you're starting to make assumptions, but a lot of those assumptions are based on flawed ideas. They're not necessarily the truth. And on top of it, some of those assumptions are actually not serving you. So when you reevaluate the assumptions, then you start to make different expectations. Expectations is a feeling of whether or not you're going to achieve what it is that you want in your life. Expectations are very powerful. Acknowledge where you are right now. So if you just accept responsibility, acknowledge where you are right now, then that is a good starting point for anyone. Now gets the fun bit. You can ask yourself this: what don't you want, 100% don't want for your life? You've experienced it, you don't like it, you don't want it anymore. That's fine. You can do that. It's actually really good. It's important to understand that contrast is an important part of growth. So when you recognize what you don't want, you can pivot and say, well, if I don't want that, what do I want? And then focus your attention on that. This is where the creative faculty comes in. We are creative beings. We co-create with God, and God wants to express his joy and his happiness and his creative ability to and through each one of us all the time. Very encouraging when you learn how to work with God, basically, or infinite intelligence, or source energy. So step 1 in foundation is recognize what you don't want for your career, your business, your life, your health, your relationships. Write it down. What don't you want? How long have you wanted to change? So for a lot of people, we get into a mode where we accept what's happening in our life because we see other people are suffering. So we stay in this sort of level of life and say, well, other people have it tough, so I can accept that I'm having it tough. Well, you don't have to have that. You can have it if you want, or you can decide, no, I'd rather change. You can decide that, because I've done it. and this program actually teaches you how to do that. If you want to change, then what's stopping you? And this is what, if we were taught this from a young age, so much of our life would be so much easier, because there are actually practical things that happen in our life that cause us to stay stuck where we are. And they're all locked up in the mind and in our understanding of how to utilize the mind. So, when are you going to 100% stop procrastinating? If you don't start making decisions for your life, nothing's going to change. Procrastination is one of the biggest causes of people failing in the world, is because they just don't know how to make a decision. Again, we're not taught to make decisions at school. So people procrastinate. They don't make a decision. The interesting thing is, if you don't make a decision on a subject or an issue that is really challenging you, it doesn't mean the issue goes away. It actually just travels with you through life until you get frustrated enough with that issue, and then you have to make the decision anyway. So why let it move through life with you? Just make decisions. In Napoleon Hill's great book, Think and Grow Rich, he dedicated a whole chapter to decision making. And he said that the people that succeed in life, they make decisions quickly and they change them very slowly, if at all. Whereas the people who don't succeed in life, they make decisions very slowly and are quick to change them when they come up with a bit of a hurdle and it seems too difficult. They'll just change them because they don't have belief in themselves. When are you going to say to yourself, enough is enough? Life is meant to be a lot more joyful. When are you going to say to yourself, it's time to change? When are you going to say to yourself, I want to deliberately direct the outcome of my results? I want that understanding where I can actually captain my destiny. So now we move, I'm assuming you've written down and you said, no, I want to change. I accept responsibility. I've just got to learn some new information. That's all I have to do. So then we can move into step 2. The first part of this is in the Thinking to Results program is you need to find direction. You need a goal. All right. So as you can see, I've got the stick figure person here. He's starting to grow. Growth is the name of the game. Goals are not for you to get. A lot of people think that you set a goal so you can get a nice new car. You get a nice new car, that's the result of a goal. But actually, the nice new car, if it's one that you've never owned before, then you actually have to grow into the person to own that car. And the stick figure, you watch him. As we go through this program, it's about you growing in confidence, structured confidence, to be able to absorb whatever goal that you want. You have to grow into the person you need to become to get the goal that you want. That's how it works. You know what you don't want. We started that in step 1. So in step 2, you write down what you do want. Make a list. Make a list of 30 things. What do you want relationship-wise? What do you want spiritually or within your community? You know, what do you want to give back to the community? What do you want in terms of physical things? You know, toys that you want to play with, cars and houses and all these things that make life so much more fun to live. Where do you want to travel? What kind of work do you want to do? Write them down. Write the goals down. How much money do you want to earn? What is, you know, most people, when we teach this material, we find that most people don't want to be mega wealthy. They want more money coming in than they're spending. They want to live, most people want more time with the people that they love, but they need the money to pay for the time. So start thinking about what is it? Is it, you know, is it, if you were earning in a month what you earn annually right now, would that be enough? Think outside the box. Think ridiculous. People think that money has to come because of it goes under certain rules. People earn money by providing service, and all you have to do is figure out what service you want to provide and become really good at it, and the money comes. It's about providing service. People have got the wrong idea about money, and I'm not going to go into detail with that in this talk, and I'll do another talk on that. But write down what it is that you want, and at no point think about, well, I don't know how I'm going to get it. That's not the point. The point is what do you want? Because God put that on your heart. There's a reason why you've got it there. And don't feel guilty about it, because the more that you develop yourself and you live in a fancier home, the more comfortable you will be. Someone has to build it. You have to buy it from someone. So someone will benefit from the money that you earn to buy that thing. And, you know, if the home that you want to live in, God already knows what you want. So write it down, because when you write it down, you're taking it from your mind and you put it on paper and write a very detailed description. I've got videos of the home that I want to live in. I've got videos. I saw something that I wanted, and I want my home to look like that. And I've had it there for 3 years now on my phone. And I look at it, and I'll look at these rooms, and I'll imagine what pictures are on the wall and what flooring we've got. And I can imagine myself sitting there drinking a cup of coffee. I can imagine myself studying in my study, I know where the sun's going to be in the afternoon. I know what furniture I've got in my office. I know what furniture I've got in as we walk into the main area of the home. I've got that detail. You know, that's the detail you want to get to. So make a list, minimum of 30. Keep going, go up to 100 things that you want. Now, out of all of those, what you want to do is you select one that you genuinely want and make that your number one priority. The most effective goal that you can set is a monetary goal, because you can measure it to the penny. You can't really measure relationships. You can't really measure health, but you can measure wealth in terms of monetary wealth. So there's a good way to start is by setting a goal that's a financial goal. You don't have to know how to get it. You just have to want it. That is the key. The way will be shown. Now, what happens is we all get excited about writing the goal. But as soon as you write your goal and you go to sleep that night and you wake up tomorrow and the next day, things start to show up. It's the way that we're structured. And we start to move into the resistance. It's like, I don't know if you've heard of the concept, buyer's remorse. Well, you might have bought or sold yourself an idea about living in a more beautiful home that's 3 times the size of the one that you're living in, and costs you, 10 times what you paid for the house that you're in. And now what happens is the mind starts to play tricks on you. Now, as you step out towards your goal, you can see the goal on the page here. It just pops up every now and again. There's the goal. I can't see it anymore. And you think about it a bit more. There's the goal, but it's like there's this resistance that's saying, well, you can't have it. You don't deserve it. And the reason for that is that you have what we call paradigm. The paradigm is a multitude of habits and routines and beliefs that are situated in your subconscious mind. And those are the limits of what you believe is possible for your life right now. That's it. If your goal's outside your comfort zone, which a goal should be, your goal should not be within your comfort zone, because then you're not growing, you're not stretching. but you can see the goals outside the comfort zone of the stick figure here. And that's you. It's way out there. All right. So you've got to understand that as soon as you set a goal, resistance will show up. It happens all the time. Doesn't even happen to me now. And I know what's happening. But I've set such a big goal that I have no idea how I'm going to achieve it. But every day I go to work and a new idea comes and so on. But I understand the paradigm. Every now and again wants to rear its head and say, Shane, you really, why bother? You've just sold the business. Why are you putting yourself through this? But I know that deep down, I have a purpose to live out in my life. And so I have to go through this process. I have to grow beyond the paradigm that I have of my understanding of life right now. I have to grow beyond there. And you do too. If you want to get to the goal, which is, it's out there, you've set it, you've written it down, but you can recognize the resistance. So I'll give you an example. When I got frustrated and eventually got to a point where I decided I'm buying my first coaching program. I need coaching. I need someone to help me move from where I am to a better understanding of how the universe works. And so I went to pay for my first coaching program, and it was really expensive, what I considered expensive. I didn't have the money. I had a credit card, and I was driving between towns here to go to a job to dig holes. To dig holes. It was hot, and I got a call to follow up. I said that I wanted to buy, and I got the call from the salesperson, and Monica said to me, so you ready to go ahead? And I said, yes, let me pull over. And I pulled over, got up my credit card, and I knew we had a limit on that credit card, but we used it for the business, and it was maxed out every month. And so I just paid for it over the phone with my credit card, sitting on the side of the road. When I got home, my wife hit the roof, but I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't stay where I was. And then I bought the next coaching program because I wasn't going to stop there. So I finished that. It was 12 months. Then I bought the next 12 months. And so it just my life just went through the roof. So what I've invested in coaching programs, you could put a deposit on a small home in Australia with. And, it's an incredible return on investment. But the point I'm making is that the time when I went to start that, I didn't have the money. But when you make the commitment, the money comes, because the money it showed up. We were able to cover everything. Everything just worked out perfectly. So I have a mantra now that I keep saying to myself, I'm calm, I'm relaxed, everything seems to work out, and it does. It's not about our intelligence, it's about co-creation with the universe. Your paradigm wants to keep you safe. We're wired that way. We're wired. We're wired to not step beyond what we know. And that goes back to when we were living in the bush. Why would you go behind that tree where we've never been before? There might be a saber-toothed tiger behind that tree. Don't go there, right? I'll stay within the limits of the trees that we know. And that's why it works the same now. We don't have saber-toothed tigers, but the business world or your any big decision that you're going to make can seem scary. Your goal is beyond your comfort zone, and when you recognize that the comfort zone, all you have to do is keep expanding your comfort zone so that you can accept more. Then you actually gobble up your goal. Your goal becomes just a means. It's not a big jump. It becomes incorporated into your life. Now, in the lessons 2 and 3 of Thinking as Results, we've got these clever ideas where we get between the conscious and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind knows that you can do more. You can achieve more. My conscious mind knows I can do more. I've written the goal down, and my conscious mind says, yes, I can do it. but I go to work every day and it's not happening. Why? Because our lives are governed by our subconscious mind. And when you understand the relationship between the conscious and the subconscious, knowing, doing, the gap gets wider as you get older because you seem to know more, but you're doing less. And that becomes very frustrating for people as they get older. And when you understand it and you're given the tools to work with your conscious mind and with your subconscious mind, then you can create new assumptions and engineer a new vision for your life, which moves down into your subconscious mind and starts to work with the universe, with God, to deliver the results that you want. What you need is a model to continually create momentum. So whenever you are moving into let's say you've set a goal, you've achieved that goal, and you've set another goal, and now the resistance comes in. If you've got a model that you can use to continually reevaluate who you think you are and reevaluate the beliefs that you have so that you can continually improve them, then what happens is that you've got a model for life that you can continually adjust your performance in favor of moving towards your goal. Now we move into step 4. What I realized is that when I started to go through the first 3 lessons of thinking into results, I needed to create order in my mind because there was all this information, but I didn't know where to store it and how to manage it. Because if you think about it, if we cut ourselves, the doctor, he can work out how to fix that because he can see it. And we can fix the body, a lot of things in the body, because we can see the body, but no one's seen the mind. And the idea of the mind only being an exclusive domain for psychologists and psychiatrists, that's not true. Anyone could learn to manage their mind better. Anyone can. It's not rocket science. We can make it rocket science if you wanted to. And I can't read half of the psychology ideas because it's learned people talk with long words. I barely got through school, so I need to understand basic idea. I need pictures. I operate with pictures. And so that's why the stick figure is so powerful, because children can learn this stuff. And children do learn this stuff. I've been teaching this to my kids for years, and it helps them enormously. So here we go. Now we're going to start developing your expanding confidence, because now you're going to learn about the mind. And our mind is our most powerful asset. It came free to us, but it doesn't come with an operator's manual. And so we want to give you an operator's manual here. So as I said, because I was starting to go through the first 3 lessons, I needed to create order. I needed to know how my mind works. So everything starts in the mind. Think about it. Every building that's been created, if they're a magnificent building, there's an architect who uses his mind to design it. There's people that work in the building industry to create it. They use their mind to create things. There's engineers creating bits and pieces that go in the building, and it's phenomenal. Everything starts in the mind. If this electronic pencil was created in the mind, everything. Think about it. So if that's the principle, then you can create the life that you want in your mind. Everything starts in the mind. To create what you want in your life, you need order in the mind. And that's if you want order in your world. If you've got order in your mind, you've got order in your world. And I'm not saying that life won't throw things at you, but when you've got order in your mind, then you handle those tragedies, etc., a lot better, because you understand what's going on. Our thoughts, they influence how we feel. So our thoughts filter down into our subconscious mind, which is our emotional part of our mind. And the emotional state that we move into moves the molecules in our body and causes us to act. It's our action that gives us our results. So in lesson 4 and 5, we go through Signal Man in detail, the stick figure concept, so that you've got a model to use in your mind in different scenarios, so you understand when you go into a situation that you're able to interpret that situation using that model, and you can make decisions using that model. You also get to understand your 6 intellectual factors, and that is your imagination. Everything's created in your imagination. Your intuition, how that works in your world, and how you can use it to your advantage. It's often said that when we pray to God, that's us talking to God. But when God talks to us, he talks to us through our intuition. And so understanding how intuition works is really important. Equally, if you walk into a room of business colleagues or of people at a party, and you sense that there is a certain mood in the room, what is that? That's interesting. Well, that's you picking up through your intuition, and you can develop that. You can develop it really well, develop as much as you want. It's like the 6 intellectual factors of our mind, no different to the muscle in my arm. If I exercise this muscle, it will get stronger. And same with your 6 intellectual factors. So we've got the imagination, intuition, our perception, our memory, reason, and the will. The will gives us the ability to concentrate. Concentration is so important. So when you imagine the vision for your life, you engineer a vision for your life, and you use your will to illuminate that imagined state on the screen of your mind to the exclusion of all the worry and the doubt, then you start to move in the direction of your goal. That's how it works. To cement our goal from vague to concrete, we have to change from the inside out. We have to change the concept of who we think we are. So, step 5. Now we start getting to really interesting territory. This is about you and who you think you are, your identity. You can see the stick figure person, you, as you're going through this program, you're starting to grow in your awareness of who you are. And you can see you're getting closer to your goal. All right. But here's the bottom line. In this lesson on self-image, we must understand that no one can outperform their self-image. But we can always improve our self-image. It's not that complicated. It's actually really easy when you know how. Our self-image sets the limits of our comfort zone. And everything in our comfort zone will be things that are wanted and things that we don't want, but we're comfortable with them. It's like someone owns a home and they've got a really ugly couch in the home. They don't like the couch. They want to get rid of it, but they don't. So every day they go home, they're really comfortable with their home, but they hate the couch. It's the same with our mind. We will just accept the things that we don't want as part of life when we don't have to. Because if we got rid of the couch, we would replace it. If we created a vacuum where that couch is, then we would probably replace it with something that we do want. And then we come home to a comfortable home and a comfortable couch that we love, not the ugly one. With the identity, we learn to redefine the concept of self, who we think we are. As you start doing this, no one's practiced in doing this. So as we start to redefine the concept of self, fear shows up. Fear is interesting because fear can knock anyone off their perch. And they might be going really strong towards something that they want, but when fear shows up, it can really knock people around and it can bounce them off any goal that they want to achieve back into bondage, into habitual way of thinking and staying stuck where they are. Fear is insidious, but when you understand it, then you can learn to manage fear. And that is a process. We just teach you how to understand, to recognize how fear is starting to operate, and then you can flip over to getting the knowledge that you need. Fear just shows up because we're ignorant of where we're moving into. We don't know what to look for it. We've never been there before, so fear shows up. But when you recognize it, then all you have to do is replace ignorance with knowledge and understanding, because knowledge and understanding will when you've got that and you're starting to get some results, you start to build faith. And faith is a feeling that is in your subconscious mind that you get emotionally involved with, and that expresses itself through your body in well-being. And so that's where you start to become confident in moving forward towards goals that that seem really impossible. But you see, fear and faith are actually the same they're the same concept, but the opposite ends of that concept. They both are asking us to believe in something in the future that we haven't seen yet. And if you default to fear, it's going to hold you where you are. But if you have faith, and this is not blind faith, this is faith based on understanding. Blind faith means nothing. The first bump in the road, you get knocked off your perch. But with faith based on understanding, you can move forward confidently that you're going to achieve what it is that you set your mind to. Because when you start to learn to listen to the direction of the universe, you become unstoppable. Understanding how fear works in the mind and body is key to learning to manage that process when you recognize it. Step 6, take action. Action is where it is. A lot of these coaching programs will teach you about how to get to set goals, etc. This coaching program is all about results. That's why it's called Thinking into Results. That's what it's based on. And to get results, you actually have to take action. So this is where you start to take action and you utilize this concept called praxis. And this is where you start to work with your new belief system. You see, you cannot go further than what you believe you can do. But if you change your beliefs in what you can do and you learn to believe in yourself, you can go anywhere you want. What is a belief? A belief is a thought we keep thinking about. That's what it is. So if a belief that you have, that you may have inherited in your journey through life, a belief is an evaluation of something, but constantly, if you reevaluate a belief of something, often you'll change that belief because it's not serving you. A lot of beliefs we inherit from people that we respect, but they inherited from other people. No one's really thinking about these ideas. But when you start to think about it, you say, no, well, that one actually doesn't work for me. Because if someone is earning double what you're earning, if someone's earning that, then you can. All you just need to know is how they're thinking and what they're thinking about, and you'll be able to achieve whatever it is you want. You're not earning what you're earning right now because that's what you want. You're earning what you're earning right now because that's what you know how to do. All you have to do is get new knowledge and you'll be able to double your income. That's how it works. So when you start to operate from the power of praxis, it's the integration of your new belief system with action, taking deliberate, decisive action in the direction of your goal. You learn to integrate what you believe with action. As you take new action, this is important, there's never a straight line from where you are right now to the goal that you want to achieve. Never will be, never is, will never be a straight line. So as you start to move in the direction of and taking action, you need to have a ability to manage your attitude. You see, your attitude will help you get to where you want to go quicker, because remember, it's the thoughts that we think that cause us to feel in a certain way, to set up your emotional state. Your emotional state, that's what moves your body into action. So if you're in a negative attitude, you're not going to get going very quickly. So you have to learn how to manage your attitude. But it's difficult because you are going to miss goals. You are going to come across things that are going to try and throw you off course. There are people that are going to disappoint you. So you have to learn how to take care of yourself so that you can manage your attitude, so that you stay in a high performance and elite performing frame of mind to get to where you want to go. You have to have a good attitude towards others regardless of their behavior, because you can't manage what they are going to do. That will exhaust you. That's controlling. You can't control people like that. So you need to be able to hold a good attitude regardless of how people behave. And then as you're moving on, you might have set a deadline for your goal, but you missed that. You need to be able to maintain a healthy attitude towards your goal. Just reset it. Doesn't matter. You know, you're going to have that. If you're going after your goal, you stop going after your goal, you're still going to live your life. So rather live your life in moving in the direction of what it is that you genuinely want. So attitude is a massive part of this whole program. And actually, it is probably about 75% of the management of your mind comes through a daily practice of priming your attitude daily. That's how I set up my day. I prime my attitude in the morning before I start checking emails and all that sort of thing. I prime my attitude so that I'm set for the day. Now, as you can see, your stick figure concept is growing and growing and growing towards your goal. You're becoming a bigger person than when you started, because you're becoming aware of the truth of who you are. The last 3 lessons, we go into relationships. And these really cement everything. We start to bring everything you learned into dealing with other people. So the first part of this is we in the next lesson is we go into leadership. So this is lesson 10 of thinking into results. And leadership is so key, because if you learn to lead yourself, then you can lead others. If you learn to lead others, then you're able to multiply your efforts through engaging other people to help you. Leadership is key. If you don't learn to lead yourself, you can't lead other people, and that will limit the progress of your life. Then we move into the lesson about leaving everyone with the impression of increase, so that people are drawn to you. You're not repelling people. Remember the law of attraction. Basically, the signal you're sending into the world through the thoughts you think, through the feelings that you feel, the mood that you're in, through the words that you use, through the action that you take, is what's going to come back to you. So if you leave an impression of increase with people, people are going to be drawn to you. And the more you draw people to you, the more that you will be able to live the life that you genuinely want to live. And lastly, you're not meant to do this on your own. this is not a journey to try and achieve what you want to achieve by yourself. There are people in the world that are elite performers that will want to come around you and spend time with you. They've got their goals, they've got their aspirations, and so have you, but you're talking on the same level, helping each other grow as individuals and multiply your efforts through your personal growth. And masterminding is an absolute key, essential part of that growth, continued growth, once you've gone through this system. So what happens is, once you've been through this program, you will grow into the person that can achieve the goal and does achieve the goal that you've set. And it's an ongoing process. It's a lifelong process of continued learning and growing into the person that you're meant to be. The person that's on your heart, you know that person's there. And you can feel it, you can sense it. That's why you listen to me talking for through this program, so that you can get some understanding of how to become the person you want to become. So thank you for spending time listening to me. If you can tell me what you genuinely want, then I can show you how to get it. And this program here is the one that saved my life, and I'm so grateful to Bob Proctor, and I'm happy to help you if that's something that you need for your life. I can help you implement it into your life. So thank you. And if you have any queries, etc., just go to my website and you can contact me through there.